Good morning again, y'all. I'm going to keep y'all busy today, that's for sure. Because you probably just saw the CPI numbers. But I want to give you the latest on good old Potato Joe's ideas and the U.S. Department of Agriculture's ideas on what you should do. Okay. The USDA has now opened their People's Garden initiative. Now, if that doesn't sound like something that's out of Red China, I couldn't tell you, all right? But let me ask you this. How many of you remember me telling you the story about me going back to Poland in 2005 and seeing my distant family's farm, if you will? And I had explained to you how the farms were all extremely narrow and long swatches of land, okay? And the reason being was because there weren't a whole lot of roads, so there was one road at the front of the farm. But as the generations died, okay, and the plots got passed down, two sons, okay, let's say dad, go back 150 years. Dad had a huge plot. He had two sons, so he split it into two gardens, or two plots of land, one for each son, both with road access. Well, then those two sons had two sons, and they split their plots, same thing, and everybody had road access. So what you had were these extremely long plots that were extremely narrow, okay? But you go back into the Cold War, okay, the time during the Soviet Union, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, whole nine yards. And these were all community farms, communism. And the idea was the Communist Party would come pick up the harvest and they'd take 95% of the harvest for the benefit of the community, and the household was allowed to keep about 5% of the harvest. They had to do 100% of the work. They got to keep 5% of the proceeds, and the rest was all taken by the Communist Party. This is exactly what this People's Garden Initiative is. And I want to read this to you. This is according to the USDA, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, okay? They're expanding the People's Garden Initiative to include eligible gardens nationwide. School gardens, community gardens, urban farms, small-scale agricultural projects in rural, suburban, and urban areas can be recognized as a people's garden if they register on the USDA website and meet criteria including benefiting the community, working collaboratively, incorporating conservation practices, and educating the public. Okay? Probably all the things that you already do. Benefiting the community. Yeah, if I've got extra vegetables or whatever it is, there's only some stuff you can't can, okay? You get extra watermelons or extra cantaloupe or whatever, you can't can it, okay? You can freeze it, but a lot of time I have extra tomatoes, I give them to the neighbors, being nice. I'm benefiting the community, okay? Working collaboratively. I think we all do that. How many of you just got seeds in the mail? Hundreds of you, okay? I'd say that's working collaboratively, working together, okay? Incorporating conservation principles. How many times have me, every other prepping channel, God knows every homesteading channel, tell you about how to make compost? Again, I was talking to you about, and I was doing this yesterday, putting more grass clippings in my gardens to let them rot out over the year and add more stuff. I'd say that would be conservation principles, right? Or conservation practices. I'm not taking grass clippings and throwing them in a plastic bag and putting them out on the curb, not that I could do that, or putting them in a dump somewhere. They're going right back into my gardens, okay? Educating the public. Do we do any of that in this group? In this community? The prepper community, the homesteading community? How many YouTube channels are there out there? I can name a bunch that are way better at doing this than me. I mean, I don't know, David the Good, maybe. Anybody ever heard of him? The Gardening Channel with James Prigioni, Scott Head, Deep South Homestead. I mean, there's just a few for you right there. Charles Dowding. I don't know. Does he educate the public at all? Nah, not at all. Okay. So we already do all this. But now the USDA is saying, hey, register your garden with us. Tell us you have a garden. Do they think we're stupid? People will voluntarily give the information. Oh, yeah, look, I grow tomatoes. They're like, cool. Mary Jones at 123 Main Street grows tomatoes. Good. So when we need tomatoes to sell to China, go to Mary Jones' house. We can get some harvest from there, just like Poland did, okay, that I visualized with these two eyes exactly what was going on. They'll inevitably offer some sort of benefit to you. Hey, we'll give you free seeds, or I don't know, each year you can get a free garden tool. I don't know, maybe a $100 gift certificate to Amazon. I pick something. Okay, there'll be some sort of incentive. You'll get something off your taxes or whatever it would be. Okay, for the privilege of giving your produce, giving your hard work to them, for them to decide who gets it. In other words, communism at work. Okay, let's take the food from the people who busted their ass. I mean, got bit up by mosquitoes or whatever while they're out in their garden, got poison ivy, okay, while they're out working in the yard, put in all that sweat equity. God knows you all know how dirty and sweaty you get working in your garden. And let's give it to that poor, unfortunate soul who all he could do was eat his Cheetos and play video games today. That's what this plan is, okay? Under no circumstances, none, zero. Please, I'm begging you, do not register your garden with the USDA. It's none of their freaking business. There's a reason it's called private property, okay? It's my right to keep what I do on my property private, not public. If the USDA wants to start a public garden, go ahead. They can buy the land, buy the seeds, create the soil, tend the soil, pay the water bill, do the work, and then if they, out of the goodness of their heart, they want to give it all up to somebody else, more power. Okay? My decision, if I'm doing the work, I'm the one who's going to decide who benefits from it. Whether it's me, whether it's my neighbors, whether it's you guys, but ain't nobody else making that decision but this guy right here. Screw the USDA, screw Biden's communist policies. I'm keeping my food, and they ain't getting it. Not without a fight. Pinball out.